welcome back. I have my friend Mateo. Give me 5. Ah man, I've seen him and known him since he's a baby. He's Max, our graphic designer, webmaster. This is his son, so I finally get to use him. So I'm going to use him today for a dinosaur face painting. This is a quick and easy one for you guys so that you guys can have some options for boys. And of course I'm going to be using my BAM stencils. So if you like what you see, make sure to check out our blog, subscribe to my channel, and check me out on Facebook. It's under Silly Heather. Alright guys, so you ready? Alright, let's go. Okay, so I'm going to start off by using this flash rainbow cake. I'm just going to spritz it, get it wet, and then using my sponge, I'm just going to swipe it across the top. Just so we can add a little bit of color to the top of his dinosaur. Because for me, that's just fun. Alright, so I'm going to be filling up his forehead area. So I'm just going to go to the left and the right and fill it up with these colors. Inside here. So the next thing I'm going to do using my same sponge is I'm just going to cover right over the muzzle area. And I'm fine with covering over the mouth versus the eyes. For some reason they're a little bit easier with that. And then I'm going to flip my sponge around so that I get that blue, and I'm just going to tap it right on the nose too. So I'm leaving pretty much most of it open. Now I'm going to pick up my same rainbow cake and this 12 brush, and I'm going to pick up the last 2 colors, which are these blues, so that we can kind of scallop the edges up here. And I'll show you what I mean. And around here. That is, I start on a straight line and I make a U and another U and make it in that direction, bring it down all the way around. That way you're giving it a border. And these colors blend because those were the last colors I was using. So come out and down just like that. Alright, so now that I have these edges, I built them up right down here. And then I'm going to still use this so that I can create the edge right there. And then from the corner of the mouth, I press and I bring it up. And from the corner of the mouth, I press and I bring it up so that I'm creating that muzzle area. And then if you want to blend it out, I'm just going to go back in there, kind of tap it out so that you don't have that harsh of a line right inside of there. Okay, so this is building my little dinosaur design. And again, I'm keeping this open right inside of here. Then I'm going to take my stencil. I love this stencil, kind of like this little broken up pattern. And then I'm going to be using a different sponge and I'm going to fill it up. Now you have a couple of choices. If you really want it to stand out, then you can use a darker green. If you want it to be a little bit more subtle, then you want to use a gold. So I'm going to use the darker green to kind of make it stand out. So I got my sponge a little wet, rub it over this emerald green from Fab. I love this color. And it'll be a good accent right on top of this area. So I'm just going to take my stencil and hold it diagonal and just stipple over it, bringing it all the way down onto the nose area. Right inside of there, so that you see you get that really cool kind of dragonish, dinosaurish pattern. So then the first thing I'll do is create the horns. And now to get your realistic horned effect, you want to start off by making kind of like a half moon shape where you're going to put your horns. So I put them there, and then I'll make one coming up on his nose. I made a half moon right here on his nose. One here if I want to. You can also make a small one in the middle. That's cool too. It really depends on how many horns you want to put on there. So I have one on his nose. So then I'm also going to press and pull on the sides right in here, because I'm kind of giving them his teeth right there as well. And that's right, Mateo has big scary teeth. And I always tell the kids when I'm painting, I tell them don't smile because then I can't see if I'm making their teeth crooked or not. But they like to anyway. So I made these teeth across the bottom. So now really all you have to do is just go in and start outlining. So I'm picking up a little bit of black and I'm going to trace. Oh, actually before I do that, I actually have to create the horns. So I made my half circles, and now I'll create the horns. Now with your horns, you can do them in 2 swipes, but you do want them to be almost like a long teardrop, and then bring it back in. So you want a long teardrop and then connect it at the base and bring it back in. If you're going to be painting the white on top of strong colors like the blue, then you want to make sure that your blue is dry, or else you're going to end up having to put 2 layers on. Going to create another horn coming up. So I made a long teardrop and I connected it right inside of there. And remember, I made a small one there. So I'll do the same thing. Long teardrop and I connect it on the side. Your ultimate goal is to be able to still have this half circle at the base, but have a nice fine point on it. So I have my 3 horns right inside of there, and then I have 1 longer one on the nose. Just pick up a little bit more paint, and I'm going to connect from the center of the lip right inside of there. And I'm also going to create some flared nostrils right on the tip of the nose. So I come off of the bottom of the nose, come up, just like I did for my horns, so that I give it a little bit more of a exaggerated nose look. Finally, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of black and start giving it the detail. Let's start off by following the shape of that half circle right in there, and you're going to come down on the edges. So I followed the shape of the half circle, came down on the edges, and I came up, followed it around. So I followed it up and came around. Alright, so from the base of the horns right here, I'm just on the tip, just kind of dragging it up. And you can choose to drag blend those if you choose to. And then I'll go ahead and I'm going to outline this, create that horn on his nose as well, and just kind of bring them up the same way. And we're going to follow this around and finish it out with his teeth right here as well. I'm just coming around, following his nose, and then I'm also following his teeth. So I'm really just outlining the black, and the same thing on their teeth. Now sometimes it does feel weird for their teeth to be, or for you to actually be painting on their lip. But if they can suffer through it, I promise the boys like it so much. So then finally, we just have a little bit more outlining to go. Now if you really, turn to me a little bit, if you really want to make this a little bit more of a kind of a serious dinosaur, then you're going to want to exaggerate the eyes, but it really depends on your model. So what I mean by that is, if you want to make it a little bit more scarier, then you're going to want to lift the eye up. So close your eye for 1 second. So I just start at the corner of the eye, and I'm going to create almost like this hook effect right inside of there, and I'll bring it down, and we're going to shade that in. So what I did is make a hook. I went through his eyebrow, came up, and then created these little lines right inside of there. That's going to give it a little bit more of an angry or a more serious effect. And then using my my brush, this is actually a filbert brush. Close your eye. I'm just going to kind of drag blend it from the corner, just so that you get a little bit more of a detail or washout in the corner of the eyes. So I'm going to take the same stencil, but now I'm going to go over with a little bit of gold just to kind of make it pop. So you'll want to pick up on your sponge a little bit of gold. So this one is the Fab Gold. It's really good to go over because it's just smooth and creamy. It doesn't get clumpy, and that part I really love. So I'm just going to go over this one more time to just give it a little bit of a shine here and there. And you can always use it right by the eyes to give it that same effect. Alright, so now I can look at my tail and I can say I have a little bit of my gold, and I'm just going to put it here and there to really make him shine. And then he can look in the camera. So he's going to look right there. You can say, "Roar! Come on, you can do it." Alright guys, thank you for joining us. Give me 5. That's right, for being one of the coolest models. You gotta look right there in the camera and say bye, everybody. Aw.